Andrew McCART, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Again, delighted as always to be joined by my good friend David Diamante. David, you've always got a smile on your face. You're always smoking cigars, which I'm jealous of. But man, how's life? You enjoying it?
Life is great, brother. Living the dream, man. We're here in Texas for the huge fight with Canelo and Saunders, and just been traveling the world, man. Rocking and rolling. We got shows every week in a different city, in a different country. So we've been really active. It's been a lot of fun.
Talk to me about, we're here within Texas. You mentioned we're in here in Texas. The reason why we're here in Texas. Billy Joe Saunders takes on the pound for pound king, Canelo Alvarez. Your quick thoughts on that fight itself?
Well, I mean, look, Canelo Alvarez is boxing's brightest star. And anytime he fights, it's an event. And this will be an event. I mean, they said the largest indoor crowd for a fight was Ali Spinks in New Orleans. It was like 63,000, something like that. This is going to be over 70. So this is going to break the record. It's the largest post-COVID crowd in a sporting event here in the States. It's a major event, and it's a unification. So it's and you've got Saunders, who's an undefeated champion. It's going to be an interesting fight.
You mentioned this is going to be an event. Now, has Billy Joe Saunders made this more than an event in fight week? We've seen with Callum Smith, Canelo, the fight week was quite subdued because we were in a bubble. Callum Smith isn't much. You know, Callum Smith is one of them like Canelo. He just wants to get through fight week and get into the fight. Yildirim as well was like that with Canelo. And then Billy Joe Saunders is rocked up. He's threatened to go home. He didn't show off to the first face-off. He actually gave it to Canelo when they did face-off, saying some things about Mexican meat and all this sort of stuff. I'm sure you heard yourself when you saw the video. Do you think Billy Joe Saunders has made this even an even bigger event in terms of what he's done this week?
Well, I think it's always, like I said, Canelo is boxing's brightest star. So no matter who Canelo's fighting, it's a big event. But I think that BJ Saunders is taking a playbook out of maybe Tyson Fury's playbook when he fought Klitschko, and just trying to rile up Canelo. So I think that's happened. I think Canelo is not happy with BJ Saunders, and I think he wants to put it on him. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I think obviously BJ Saunders is going to try to do what he can to frustrate Canelo in the ring and to try to outbox him. But it's going to be interesting to see how Canelo deals with that.
Talk to me about this then. I know you're a boxing aficionado, man. You know your stuff in terms of history of fights, and you've seen so many fights. You've been at many fights. Now, Canelo hasn't fought a southpaw in 6 years. Arislandi Lara, he had trouble with. The slick style of boxers as well he has trouble with. Although he has won against Trout and stuff like that, and other fighters, he's still got the victory. But with Billy Joe Saunders, like I said to you, brings something different to the table in terms of the way his antics are. And he's got this, I'm going to have to say, I don't give a fuck attitude, which is something that Canelo might not have faced before. But the southpaw stance is something that Canelo has trouble with. Although he's beat the southpaws, he's had trouble with them. Can Billy Joe Saunders do that one better and maybe get the victory over Canelo? Sorry,
Andrew, it's a fist fight, and anything can happen in a fist fight, and that's why we're going to watch. You can never count BJ Saunders out, and to the people that think he's just going to box, don't be surprised that, like I said, he takes another page out of Tyson Fury's playbook when he fought Wilder the second time and attacks. You never know what's going to happen, and that's why we're going to watch. Like I said, it's a fist fight. Anything could happen. At the same time, you know, you've got boxing's pound for pound, you know, one of the top guys. He's definitely the brightest star. Is he the pound for pound best? Many people think he is. If you don't think he's number one, he's definitely in the top, you know, top 5, top 10. Definitely one of the top pound for pound fighters in the world in Canelo. And he's the type of guy that leaves no stone unturned. So, you know, you guarantee they're working with southpaws, and, you know, I think they're going to be ready for it.
If anyone's going to, that Canelo team with Eddie Reynoso and stuff like that, they come prepared. They do the homework. They're proper boxing people. So, like you said there, if somebody's going to be prepared for this fight, it's going to be Canelo. Now, looking at Billy Joe Saunders in terms of the way his physique is and stuff like that, I mean, I've not seen Billy Joe Saunders in the greatest shape before, and we all know that when Billy Joe Saunders is up against a lesser opponent, he can't get up for the fight, and sometimes he might have a bad performance or whatever, but when he does fight guys like Andy Lee and Chris Eubank Jr. and David Lemieux, we see the best Billy Joe Saunders. For both fighters, because this is the most dangerous fight for Canelo as well. Are we going to see the best of both fighters? We're going to see the best Canelo in there, and we're going to see the best Billy Joe Saunders in there.
Saturday night will show us, but I believe we will. You you know, when you're on the biggest stage in the world, fighting, you know, the pound for pound, great fighter. And like you said, sometimes BJ Saunders has trouble getting up for certain opponents because maybe he just thinks he's just that much, you know, better than them. So he's not too worried about it. I mean, like you said, he might have looked not as in the top shape maybe against Coceres in his last fight when he fought in Los Angeles. But that's not the case now. I mean, he really looks fit. He looks in shape. I think we're going to see the best of both guys.
David, since this pandemic has hit us, you've announced fights in empty stadiums. You've announced fights in empty arenas, I should say, and stuff like that. Now, I know you thrive off the crowd, man. You like to get the fight is now. You like to get that going. You like to get the crowd going. Now, for you to see 70,000 fans in that massive arena over there, how does that make you feel?
Does that say it? I mean, I can't wait, man. I really can't wait. I'm so excited. So excited. I mean, we've done fights with crowds here in America, and it just feels great. And 70,000, it's going to be thunderous. I can't wait.
And me too, mate. Honestly, I really cannot wait. Now, I do want to get your thoughts on a massive fight here. Tyson Fury's here. He's looking in great shape. I've showed you me sparring Tyson Fury. I think I got the better of him. Many people say I did get the better of the heavyweight champion of the world. I don't know what that says about me, but we won't go there. But Tyson Fury's here. He's loving life. He's in America. He's training hard. I mean, I watched him do like 25, 30 rounds of sparring in there, like, and he wasn't even breathing heavy, man. The man, he might not look it, but the man is super fit. But I just want to get down to the nitty-gritty. Joshua, Fury, man, we need to see it, don't we?
Yeah, let's hope it happens, man. I mean, I'm not going to hold my breath on it. It's boxing, and so sometimes these fights happen, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they come at the right time, and sometimes these fights get overcooked. I hope it doesn't get overcooked. It's a fight that the world needs to see. It's a fight that the UK needs to see. It's a fight that boxing fans need to see. So let's make the fight.
That's what I was saying. Like, when you see an event like this, Canelo and Billy Joe Saunders, and what it's done for boxing, man, the fans are out. We've got 70,000 fans in the arena. That's all because it's back. Boxing needs the fans, and it feels like, for me, being that obviously we've been in bubbles and stuff like that, it hasn't felt the same without the fans. Now, Joshua and Fury, when that gets announced, that's just going to bring boxing back even further, man. Maybe make boxing an even bigger sport, seeing the undisputed heavyweight champion in the world. I suppose that we do need this fight, not just for boxing, but for every single boxing fan out there. They can't wait any longer. We need to see it.
And for sports fans, because a lot of people are missing out on boxing. They don't know what's happening in the boxing world. But fights like this with these big names bring people to the sport. And we've been seeing all kinds of other events with, you know, the old timers, with the Tyson and the Roy Jones and the Logan Pauls and the Jake Pauls and all these kind of guys. And that's great. Whatever they want to do, it's great. But to see like a real proper scrap for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world, that brings a lot of eyes. So that would be huge. It would be huge for the sport.
Yeah, you mentioned Jake Paul and all that there. Did you see Jake Paul stealing Floyd Mayweather's hat in Miami today?
No, I didn't see that.
You don't need to see it. I'm going to say it. You don't need to see it, David. That'll be the end of that conversation. But the undercard here, we've got some good fights. Frank Sanchez, Cuban heavyweight, looking good. We've got Elvin Soto, light flyweight. Love the small guys. I mean, we've got Keyshawn Davis, his brother's Kelvin on the card as well. We've got some great fights on this card also, haven't we?
Yeah, and I think the Kieran Conway, Suleiman Sissoko fight's
How could I forget? My bad, yeah.
It's a really nice fight. I like that scrap. I think it's going to be an interesting fight to see. It's kind of a good litmus test for Sissoko to see where he is, if he's really the real deal. Because Conway knows his way around the ring. He doesn't have a huge punch. He's a slick fighter in the ring. The charge from Northampton. So we'll see what he can do. Kelvin and Keyshawn Davis, two young rising stars from Norfolk, Virginia. Elwin Soto defending his title against Takayama. That's going to be an interesting fight, man. I really like that fight. Four-time strawweight champion, moving up a division to take on Elwin Soto.
Sorry to cut you off. How heavy is strawweight?
105. Yeah, and then.
When was the last time you were 105?
Man, I'll tell you, not now. That's for sure. But so these guys, they're going to go at it. It's going to be an interesting fight. Elwin Soto, La Pulga, which means the flea in Spanish. The flea, yeah, La Pulga.
That's a very fitting name, isn't it?
Yeah, and then, like you said, Frankie Sanchez. He's fighting Nagy Aguilera. I know Nagy from back in the amateurs, man, years ago. He's been fighting a long time. So, yeah, we'll see. It's good. And Mark Castro's on the card, too.
Castro,
yeah. And Mark Castro and Keyshawn Davis have a little bit of a. They fought twice in the amateurs.
Right.
It's a little bit of a thing there. Keyshawn claims like.
This is the second time they've been on the same card as well.
I know, and he says they're friends and all that, so there's not really a beef. But he's like, listen, man, like they don't want to fight me because I'm a different guy now, and the amateurs is one thing, the pros is a different game. So who knows what'll happen in the future? It might be a nice fight down the line.
Well, David, I won't keep you much longer. I know you like enjoying them cigars, and we've got some iced coffee. We're going to sit here and chill and drink as well. So I think you know how to end this interview. You ready? You want to take the microphone and do it?
Sure. Saturday night, tune in because the fight starts now.